Hey everybody, this is Dave from Blueberries Games, bringing you the final video of the year. I will be filming this on New Year's Eve of 2020, and I will be releasing it as my first video for the new decade, the new year, what have you, 2020. I've gone ahead and chosen an unboxing video for my final video, and I'm choosing the Brawl deck, Wild Bounty, the Chulane Teller of Tales deck for the Throne of Eldraine Brawl decks. I've chosen this one because when I first decided to get the Brawl decks, I actually only wanted this one. It wasn't until later when I realized that I kind of liked the fairy schemes as well. But this is the original reason that I got the Brawl decks. I wanted this specifically to make a commander deck out of it, and I've gone ahead and chosen to open this up and show you what's inside the box. First thing you'll notice is right off the bat, you can see the foil hologram is off a little bit. It's the only one of the 4 that I bought that came that way. Not sure why that is. But apparently this one may be inside. I don't know. I haven't opened it yet. You'll go ahead and see that as I open it. They may all be like that. They might not. The second thing you'll notice as I move this out of the way is I've got a nice little new playmat here. I've gotten a new playmat for Christmas. I actually asked for one because I kind of did not like the playmats that I had originally, that I started the videos with, and I went ahead and asked for this one specifically, and I was lucky enough to get it. It is, from what I understand, it's the full art, unhinged. I can't remember if it's unhinged, but it's not. I know it's not unglued. One of the 4 art lands from one of the unsets. It's one of the more, I guess, for lack of a better word, beautiful of the lands that I'm a big fan of the islands since I play blue, and this was the one that I asked for. It's nice, it's shiny, it's new, so that'll be the other one. Now let's go ahead and actually get into this video. Stop babbling. Alright, so this is the blue, white, green Brawl deck. I don't have anything set aside for this as far as a commander deck, but I'll go over that in a little bit. So it gives you deck building tips for your Brawl deck, just like the other one. It has all the different Brawl commanders in there, so that's the little insert inside there. Let's go ahead and move this around and open it up. I'm not really a big fan of how they packaged in the commanders, but they're a little harder to get out. So let's just go ahead and look at Chulane. Let me zoom in a little bit here. And Chulane is 2, a green, a white, and a blue. 2/4 vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And then 3, tap it, return target creature you control to its owner's hand. So, the basic theory of this is because it's in green, it has a lot of synergies probably to do with, you know, bouncing things. That's the white part of it. The land part is, you know, putting a land into play is a green thing. And of course, drawing a card is a blue thing. So, let's go ahead and see what else is in there. Well, we have the deck. We have the insert. Now, this is a divider. So you can actually use the deck box, which by the way isn't that bad. It's actually a pretty big box. And it's pretty cool. It has a divider that goes in it. Dividers in case you want to play the box for your commander. It comes with a life counter just like the other one did. I like that they did this. It's actually kind of cool that they did this. In case people don't have like die that go up to that number. And then you go to the other side and it starts at 19 because this goes down to 20. It's not bad. Not a bad little package. I'm glad I got them. Just in case somebody doesn't have life counter, I can go ahead and do that and give them that for the day. Alright, so let's see how badly I fumbled opening this up. Because I'm not very good at opening the cellophane parts of this. There's supposed to be a pull tab somewhere. And it never really does work. So let's see if I can't get this open. Nope, I can't. There we go. Alright, so I got it open. First thing I noticed when I go ahead and look at the first card, and it looks as if though the foil hollow stamp, whatever it's called, it looks like it's a little off center, just like the Chulane card is a little off center. let's take a look at the comparison. It's not too bad, but it's still off. Alright, so anyway, let's put that aside. Alright, so first up for the deck is Fairy Formation. It is a 5 to cast, 5/4 flyer that you can pay 4 and create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying and then draw a card. Now, I believe this was also in the Fairy Schemes deck as well. I guess it goes along with the theme. I guess it's because it's to draw a card. I don't know. It doesn't seem to really fit too much into the theme there. Because you're not casting a creature spell. So, whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card, then you may put a land card in play. But I guess it's just to draw the card and put a token in play. I don't know. Alright, up next, Steelbane Hydra. It's a 2 green and X for a 0/0. When it enters the battlefield, it enters with X +1/+1 counters. And for 1 green and 2 any, remove a +1/+1 counter from it and destroy target artifact or enchantment. This is actually one of the better cards in the deck. I think that's actually exclusive to the Brawl deck. I'm not sure. My memory has been shot as of late. Too much stuff going on that I can't remember if that was actually in Throne of Eldraine or if that's just from the Brawl decks. Thorn Mammoth is 7 to cast for a 6/6. Trample. Whenever Thorn Mammoth or another creature enters the battlefield under control, Thorn Mammoth fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So he's got a big, 6/6 body. So you can have him fight and take out lesser creatures. Tomb of Legends, 2 to cast. When it enters the battlefield with a page counter on it. Whenever your commander enters the battlefield or attacks, put a page counter on Tomb of Legends, and then pay 1 and tap remove a page counter from Tomb of Legends and draw a card. Not bad. I actually can see using that in a lot of different decks. I'm looking at the rares now, and it looks like the foil holo stamp stopped becoming 2/2 off-center. Parhelions, 8 to cast, 5/5 artifact vehicle with flying, first strike, and vigilance, and whenever it attacks, create 2 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance that are attacking with a crew of 4. Crew of 4 means that you have to tap creatures that equal up the power of 4 to make it a creature itself. Eldraine Forerunners is an 8 to cast, 7/7 vigilance, trample, haste. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and vigilance and trample until end of turn. So it's kind of like overrun on a stick. Well, not even as good as an overrun, because that would give +3/+3. Incubation Druid. 2 to cast, 0/2. Tap to add a mana of any type that a land you control could produce. And if it has a +1/+1 counter on it, you can add 3 mana of that type instead, and it adapts. So for 5, you can put adapt 3, which is 3+1/+1 counters on it. Biomancer's Familiar is a blue and a green for a 2/2. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the amount of mana an ability costs to less than 1 total mana, and you can tap it to make the next time target creature adapts this turn, it can adapt as if though it had no counters on it. So basically, it can allow a creature to adapt twice. Or at least for 1 turn. You can actually make it adapt over and over again. You can actually use it every turn. So, I mean, if you're into adapt, you can make things just get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's not a horrible thing to do. I can see using this on a Simic. What is that enchantment? I want to actually make a deck based on the enchantment. Where if you have, I think it's 20 or more +1/+1 counters, you win the game. It actually helps with that deck, so it's not a bad option for that as well. Up next is Time Wipe. It is 2 white, 1 blue, 2 of any, so 5 total casting cost. Return a creature you control to its owner's hand, and then destroy all other creatures. It's pretty much a fixed Wrath of God. Hallowed Fountain is the blue-white shockland. So it counts as a plains or an island and taps for either one of those colors. But when it enters the battlefield, you either pay 2 life or it comes into play tapped. Temple of Mysteries. Apparently, they're spoiling the Theros Beyond Death cards right now, and apparently the Temples will make its third appearance in Magic. While some sets have never had their opposing colors, the set completion, they're still going. They're just reprinting Temples over and over again. I've never been a fan of the Temples. They're okay. I just don't see them as the end all be all for dual lands. But it's the green blue Temple dual land. Fairy Vandal is a 2-cast 1/2 flyer. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Fairy Vandal. So in blue, it's in its natural color. It's a fairy, and it gets bigger as you draw extra cards. So not too bad. Run away together. 2-cast for an instant. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. I don't play a whole lot of Brawl. I actually play Commander. Brawl is a new thing. Obviously, it's new into the game, and it's new to me. I'm not as big a fan of it. I like the idea of using these cards for Commander. That's pretty good in Commander itself. I don't remember it. I think Brawl is more of a 1v1 format, if I'm not mistaken. So I can see this being a Commander card more than a Brawl card. Beanstalk Giant. 7 to cast for a star. Its power and toughness is equal to the number of lands you control. It has Adventure, which says search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. So cast it first as an adventure, and then cast it as the creature. Keeper of Fables is actually a pretty damn good card. It's a 5 to cast 4/5 cat. I have recently found that I like the cats in Magic. I'm not the only one, apparently. They make cat specialty items now for just Magic. So this one's a 5 to cast 4/5. So not a bad power toughness to convert a mana cost. It's a cat. That's a bonus for a lot of people. And then whenever one or more non-human creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you can draw a card. So you're putting this in a cat deck. Or some kind of a zoo style deck, so it's going to be a non-human creature anyway, so it's pretty good. Let's see what we got here. Rose Thorn Acolyte is 3 to cast for a 2/3. It taps to add 1 mana of any color, and then its adventure is to add 1 mana of any color. So for 1 green, you can cast it to get another color that you don't have. Say you're playing a 2-color deck, say it's green-red, which is the most common combination for green and red. You add a red, cast something, then you cast it for its 3 to cast red out of. When you play an adventure, if you don't know, you can cast the adventure. It goes into exile, and then from exile you can cast it as the creature. So most people, will probably do it that way, but not horrible, I guess. Maraleaf Pixie, 2 to cast, 2/2 flyer, taps to add a green or a blue. So they do all the time. They do a whole set of like 2 to cast for opposing colors or for friendly colors to make them a 2 to cast 2/2, one of each of the different colors, and then they have something different on them. They used to all have like different walks, like Islands Walk and Plains Walk and stuff like that for 2 to cast. They've upped them a little bit now. This actually used to be a 2 to cast elf or elf merfolk. A long time ago, it was a green and a blue for a 2/2 for an elf merfolk that was flying. Now they've added to it, add a blue or a green to your mana pool. So, and they made it a fairy, which is the right color for that kind of thing. Arcane Signet is one of the reasons to actually buy these Brawl decks. Minus the fact that the price tag at one point in time was $10. Right now, I think they're at $4 or $5 or $6, something like that. For Commander, it's just, these are just, they're hard to beat. 2 to cast, they come into play, and they can tap immediately. They don't come and play tapped. You can add 1 mana of any color of your Commander's color identity. I don't believe that the Commander has to be out in play either. So they just tap for the colors you need no matter what. Those are really good. I don't know if they're going to reprint them again. It would be a mistake on their behalf not to print them again in a Commander set, but we'll see. Forbidding Spirit is a 3 to cast. 3/3 when it enters the battlefield until your next turn creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless the controller pays 2 for each of those creatures. So there are a couple enchantments that do that, one in blue, one in white, and now it's on a creature for a one-time effect instead of like an all-the-time effect. Prison Realm, 3 to cast enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature or planeswalker that an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield, and when it enters the battlefield, scry 1. So, aptly named Prison Realm. Spectral Sailor, 1 to cast 1/1 flash flying, and an ability of for 1 blue and 3 of any, draw a card. And you can do it over and over again if you have enough mana. Which you're in green, you should. Circuitous Route, 4 to cast, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards and or gate cards. Put them on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. District Guide, when it enters, you may search your library for a basic land or gate, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. You have to excuse me, I'm a little sick today. Alright. Cruel Harpooner is a 2 to cast 3/2. Now, see, when you think about the way that Magic has evolved, 2 to cast 3/2 is like astronomically like bigger than they used to be. I mean, 2 to cast 2/2s used to be, you know, when the game first started, just really good value. Now 2 to cast 3/2 with abilities, jeez, ew. Reach, so it can block creatures with flying. Undergrowth, so when it enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target creature with flying you don't control. And Cruel Harpooner gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Then you may have Cruel Harpooner fight that creature. So it can take out a flyer on your opponent's side easily. Silhana Wayfinder, 2 to cast 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or a land card from among them and put it on top of your library. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Alright, so it goes and helps you get land. Okay. So look at top 4 and creature or land. Put on the top of your library. So it kind of helps your draw. There's a lot of wording for that. Alright, Paradise Druid, 2 to cast 2/1. It has hexproof as long as it's untapped, and it taps to add 1 mana of any color. I like that they made it an elf, because they do a lot of druids that do that, but elves are usually the ones that I like to see doing it. Frilled Mystic, 4 to cast 3/2. 2 green, 2 blue, by the way. It's a Mystic Snake, but a little bit better. So it's a 3/2. And when it enters the battlefield, you may counter target spell. Mystic Snake is, for those of you that have never seen one or don't know what that is, it is, I believe it was 2 blue, 1 green, 1 of any. Same exact wording, I think it is, only it was on a 2/2 body. So, and it was a rare at the time. Leafkin Druid, 2 to cast 0/3, tap to add a green. If you control 4 or more creatures, you can add 2 green instead. It's actually not a horrible card. Growth Spiral, 2 to cast, it's 1 green, 1 blue, draw a card, and you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Good for tempo, good for getting ahead, actually. Gyre Engineer is 3 to cast 1/1, tap to add a green and a blue. Shark Toe Crab. It is a fish octopus crab. I think they were reaching when they did the 3 different subtypes for creatures. Shark Toe Crab, something has this bad, eerie feeling of like Sharknado was being discussed when this card was made. 4 to cast, 4/4. So 1 green, 1 blue, 2 of any for 4/4. It's not bad stats for its converted mana cost. For its actual converted mana cost, so for force, it's 1 green, 1 blue, 2 of any. You can adapt it 1. So it can become a 5/5 for its actual same casting cost. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Sharktail Crab, tap target creature an opponent controls, and that creature does not untap during its controller's next untap step. So it locks down a card. Aha. My favorite card from the last, I think, 2 years. Risen Reef. 1 green, 1 blue, 1 of any for a 1/1. Whenever Risen Reef or another elemental enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. If you do not put the card onto the battlefield, put it in your hand. So, in essence, what that means is, look at the top card of your library when it comes into play. If this or another elemental, and I think I saw a bunch of elementals in here, I'm not sure. When it comes into play, look at the top card. If it's a land, put it into play. If it's anything else, put it in your hand. It's great card advantage. This card is, if in the right deck, and this seems to be an okay deck, but I can see it in a commander deck. If it's out, it's broken. It's really broken. I've seen some nasty stuff. Like, if you don't remember, I think when Throne of Eldraine, or actually when M20 first came out, this card was so broken, the deck that you could do, you could drop an entire deck onto the battlefield in 1 or 2 turns. It was so broken. I love this card. Alright, up next, Flower Flourish. I don't like these sideways cards. Flower, search your library for a basic land, basic forest or plains card. Reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. Or for 6, creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Now, one thing people don't remember or realize or know, when you're casting one of these cards, you have to choose one or the other. The converted mana cost of this actual card when counting it actually counts for both sides, but when you're casting it, you can only cast one part. Alright, next one, Incubation and Incongruity. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Or you can do Incongruity for 3, exile target creature. That creature's controller creates a 3/3 green frog lizard token. Not the greatest card. Meteor Golem enters the battlefield, destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls, and it's a 3/3 for 7. And Firemind Vessel, 4 to cast, it enters tapped and add 2 mana of different colors. If it didn't enter the battlefield tapped, that would actually be really, really good. As a side note, they're doing spoilers for not Throne of Eldraine, for Theros Beyond Death. And an interesting card that they came up with was a 4 to cast artifact that enters the battlefield tapped, and then you can tap it to choose a color and add that color to your mana pool equal to your devotion to that color. So if you choose green, and your devotion to green, that's how much it adds for 4. It's an interesting card. If it was any less to cast, it would be broken beyond all belief. If it was any more, it would be completely crap. The fact that it's 4 and enters the battlefield tapped makes it slow enough not to be abusable, but it still makes it kind of okay. I'm going to take a look at it for future references for decks. I have some ideas to go with a couple of other cards. Like, I believe the Commander 2019 had a card that taps to add 1 colorless, and then every time you tap it, you add a counter, and then every time when you tap it for the colors, it's equal to the number of counters on it. So, but that's me getting off track. Let's go with the rest of this deck and then we'll go. So it's got some plains, it's got some islands, obviously some forests, and then an Azorius Guildgate, so it's the gate version of blue-white. Blossoming Sands, it's the one that comes into play and you gain a life, and it's the green-white version. Command Tower, because every deck that is multicolor and used in Commander needs to have a Command Tower. Faux Fetch, Evolving Wilds, the green-white Guildgate, the blue-green Guildgate, the gain a life enters the battlefield tapped, dual land for blue-white. Same thing with Thornwood Falls, it's the blue-green, and you gain a life when it comes into play. So, and then there's that. So that's what they have inside the precon for Chulane, for the Wild Bounty Brawl deck for Throne of Eldraine. I keep getting off track here just because I'm a little distracted. Every time I open one of these up, my whole point of getting these was just to be able to make commander decks for different colors. I've been easily distracted by the fact that I'm trying to get a couple of different decks together. This is one of the ones that, like I said in the beginning of the video, I've been wanting to put together just because the color combination is the correct color combination. I'm missing a blue, green, white, and he fits that bill, and I like the idea of what he does. It's actually my play style. You know, drawing cards, putting lands into play for free, returning creatures, stuff like that. It's actually in my wheelhouse. So all I've been doing as I'm opening this is thinking of cards I can add to make this a commander deck. So I will be doing that sometime in the upcoming year. Chulane will be one of the new commander decks. I'm making a new series that basically it's just going to be making actual commander decks from stuff I've opened. So hopefully you guys are paying attention to all this stuff that I'm telling you when it comes to what I'm going to be doing in the future, and you kind of like the ideas. If not, give me some comments, some questions, some anything. Give me some feedback. I noticed that I got to my 50 subscribers. I'm halfway to my goal for for what this year was. Not horrible considering that I started out with nothing. So let's try to get me to 50 more. I'd like to get to 100 so I can actually take over a channel name. So with that in mind, please do me a favor. Like, subscribe, share. Everybody asks you to do it. It's an important part of the process. Please share out to your friends. Let them see. I'm trying to get something going here. I'd like to continue doing so throughout the new year and the new decade. It would be a great, I enjoy doing this, but I need more incentive to keep it going. So, with that in mind, I'll say it again. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Any questions or concerns, anything you need to know, anything you want to ask, you can comment below in the section. You can even go to the Facebook page, Blue Bears Games, and contact me directly. I am an open book. I will answer any questions. I will always respond. So, that was the Wild Bounty Brawl deck from Eldraine, and I will see you next time.